I'm Will Noonan, and you're listening to Tom Clark's Main Event.
This is Daddy Show. Step off.
Hey, what is up? Welcome to the program. Thank you for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom Clark, and you are listening to Tom Clark's Main Event. This is episode 2 of the program. For those of you out there who listened to episode 1, downloaded, subscribed, and all that good stuff, I have to extend a laurel and a hearty handshake. Thank you for your support. Episode 1 was a blast. For those of you that did not hear it, shame on you. I'm taking names at the end of this class. Will Noonan was my first guest on episode 1. It had to do with comedy and pro wrestling. Please go look up Will. He's a stand-up comic out of Boston, Mass. Very funny guy, and also a very smart guy, especially when it comes to the business of professional wrestling. Please go check him out. As I said before, this is episode 2. This time there's no special guest. There's just yours truly, so hopefully you're not very irritated at the sound of my voice, but just sit back and have some fun, folks. Because this week's main event is on Brock Lesnar. And no, I'm not going to do Heyman's voice. Don't even ask me. As all of us out here are very aware by now, the Beast Incarnate is your new reigning and defending WWE World's Heavyweight Champion after his victory over John Cena on SummerSlam this past Sunday, August 17th, 2014. It can't really be described as a wrestling match as much as it was a squash. A good old-fashioned NWA Road Warriors versus Mulkey Brothers squash. John Cena has essentially been relegated to the role of a Mulkey. He is the third Mulkey brother. Who would have thunk it? Who knew, actually? Of all the predictions and all that stuff that always goes on before pay-per-views, and I'm usually part of that little gang of guys and writers and fans online talking about that and trying to analyze information and give you our best hypothesis, our best guesses of what's going to happen. I don't know if I read any opinion that said, oh yeah, John's not only going to go down, he's going to get destroyed. I mean, seriously, did anyone see that coming? Raise your hands if you did. Okay, put your hands down. You're all lying. Okay? All of you are lying. No one saw this coming. It was the most intense thing that I've seen in a while. Most insane thing because, a few minutes going into the match and you're waiting for John. We're all waiting for John. And, by that, I also have to say that Jerry Lawler represented the fans in this match more than he did anyone else. He wasn't really talking like a color guy or as a commentator. He represented the fans. Because through this entire match, every fan watching WWE Network, every fan watching at home, all around the world, was thinking the same thing. John's going to get back up. John's going to get back up. How do we know this? Because you can drop John off a roof and he'll kick out at 2. You know what I'm saying? Hit him with a bus. You can't pin him after it's over. Forget it. John Cena is John Cena. All due respect. Don't get me wrong. Please, no hate mail, no middle fingers from anybody out there. I'm not trying to hate on the guy or slam him or criticize him. I have more of a problem with the way the guy's been presented over the past 10 plus years. But you know what? That's another main event topic. Better reserved for another day. But what we're talking about here is the fact that John Cena, who is your top guy, he is the guy that makes the most money for your company, absolutely was destroyed. Okay? He was left for dead by the guy who 2 years ago, pounded him into submission also. But John was able to overcome that. I think that, more than likely, is where a lot of the sentiment from fans coming from when they saw SummerSlam, that's where it all came from, was the fact that we've seen this before with John. We see it with John every time he works a match, let's be honest. John doesn't take the majority of the match. He'll have certain spots, okay? and then he'll get beat down for 7 straight minutes or whatever it is. Suddenly he jumps up, he shakes it off, he throws his flying tackles, his clotheslines, the spinning backdrop, the fiery fist of doom. That's not what it's called. Fine, I'm having fun with it. Don't hate. Don't be hating. And yes, I put an ing on the end of that. I've got good grammar, folks. That's probably not even how you say it. Here's the point. John Cena always has the comeback. All the time. Despite who he's working, despite what feud it is, despite what night of the week it is, John Cena always has the comeback. We were all expecting it. Every fan watching expected it, okay? I'll be honest with you, I'm still expecting him to kick out, even as we speak, all right? And by this time, Lesnar's hit his 84th German, and by this time, John's nothing but a bloody mess. It's amazing stuff, isn't it? The fact that John Cena went down as hard as he did at SummerSlam. It confuses the eye and confounds the understanding. Why is that? Of course, it has a lot to do with the way John's been presented over the years, okay? The fact that he is the top guy, that nothing you do can face him, that you can beat the living devil out of him, all right? But he eventually will get back up. He'll have the comeback. He always has the comeback. He'll get the 1, 2, 3 and win the match. I was asked before SummerSlam, do you think that Brock's winning the belt? And I said, well, Brock will win the belt, but I don't know if it'll be at SummerSlam. I was sort of back and forth on it. I was not one of the guys that said Cena will get destroyed. Do you want to know why? Because there's no guys out there that said that, pure and simple. Okay? No one saw this coming. What does this say about Brock Lesnar? Let's move on from John for a moment. What does this say about Brock Lesnar? What is the company trying to say? To me, in my opinion, we're talking about dominance. Okay? We're talking about a dominant world heavyweight champion. When's the last time we had a champion that was this insanely dominant? I guess if you want to put Cena in that conversation, you can, in terms of always winning, because Cena always wins, okay? He is the top guy. He shouldn't catch any crap for that because, the top guys in the business do often win, hence the phrase and the term top guy, all right? But what's this saying about Lesnar? The most brutal champion, the most dominant champion in WWE history? Can we already say that? The guy debuted back in 2002, I believe. It was no more than 3 years, I believe, that he was in the company. Correct me if I'm wrong. But here you have Brock Lesnar. And during his first run, it was epic. Why was it epic? Because he came out of nowhere. You had to understand, and I'll take it back, folks, it was 2000. 2000, reached main event status in 2002, won the King of the Ring. Goes on for the undisputed WWE Championship title shot at SummerSlam. I mean, look how far he came. Beat Hogan down. Beats The Rock. He goes farther in a shorter amount of time than perhaps anyone that we've ever seen. Brock Lesnar was the Shield, except he was just one guy. Do you know what I mean? Brock, extremely dominant. So from the very beginning, from the get-go, you'd never seen the guy before. If you didn't know who he was, you didn't follow Ohio Valley at the time. You didn't know anything about him, okay? You didn't know anything about him. And you just saw him on your TV. There he is. Bam, Brock Lesnar. Within 30 seconds, you're saying, well, he's going to be somebody. Right? And you're right. That's thanks to a lot of things. Number one, of course, as we said with Cena, it's how the company presents him. But number two, it has to do with Paul Heyman. Look at all the work that Heyman has done in Brock Lesnar's career. If there's anybody that Lesnar owes a cut of his money to, it's Paul Heyman. Because I don't know the last time I've seen a manager, and yes, I use the old school term manager, not advocate. Okay, I love the term advocate, don't misunderstand me, but I'm an old school guy. I don't know the last time I saw a guy who is actually a manager as much as Heyman is, with the exception of Paul Ellering. Okay, another Road Warriors reference here. Paul Ellering, Precious Paul, thank you, a longtime manager of the Road Warriors, Legion of Doom, Hawk and Animal. He was seen as the guy that handled their business affairs, okay? He was just seen as the guy that sort of reeled them in, kept their heads together, kept them focused on the business at hand, helped make money for them, took care of their appointments, took care of their road schedules, kept them on the same page all the time. He was a manager in every sense of the word. He took care of those guys. He loved them, okay? They were family. At this point, you have to say that about Heyman and Lesnar. At this point, they're family. They are. And Heyman's been there for Brock pretty much every step of the way during his WWE career and beyond. When he was in UFC, it's the same deal. I'm sure they kept close connection during that time as well. But here you have Brock Lesnar, who again debuts back in 2000. In 2004, he's gone. Okay? Bye-bye, see ya. Tries out NFL, doesn't work out. Becomes MMA fighter, that worked out a little bit better. Okay? UFC champion. Okay? Comes back after an 8-year absence in 2012 to completely beat the living snot out of John Cena and leave the guy for dead. Problem is, he lost the match, Extreme Rules, that year. There you go. You see that and you're thinking, well, it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again, man. John's going to kick out. John didn't kick out. What are we saying here? Does this bother anyone else out there? Let me pose the question to you. Does this bother anyone else out there that Brock's already being called the most dominant champion in WWE history, that the company's getting behind him, that it's all about him being the most brutal, the most dominant, the top guy, that he's unbeatable, he's Hawk and Animal rolled into one, he's this, he's that, he's this, he's that, and all this stuff? The guy just got back, okay? And I'm not disputing the intense amount of spotlight he received at WrestleMania 30 when he pinned The Undertaker and ended the undefeated streak. He did that. Okay? No doubt about it. He was the guy that brought the House of Cards tumbling down at WrestleMania, the grandest stage of them all. Defeats the Dead Man in grand fashion. When I say grand fashion, I mean extremely shocking. It's the best way. People can look at that match all day. And just on a side note here, people are still all up in arms about that. They're still showing the replays, as well they should. That company should be proud of that moment. Do you want to know why? Because it was shocking. Because it was unexpected. It was surprising. Folks, you can't have it both ways, okay? You can't sit back and beg for this company to shock you, to surprise you, to throw you off your game, to give you something you haven't seen before. And then when they give that to you, you cry about it? Really? Did I want to see Taker go down? Can I be straight with you? This is just me talking, nobody else. In my opinion, Taker should go out on his back. Do you want to know why I say that? Because Taker's old school. I doubt very seriously, again, just me talking here, I doubt very seriously that the conversation's been had where Undertaker's made the statement, I'm not going to go out like that, Vince, forget it. I'm going out on top. In fact, give me the belt and I'll retire with it. Really? I don't see that. Taker's old school. He's going to go out on his back. You know how many guys did the job for him when he was coming up in WWE? How many guys laid down for him? You see what I'm saying? It all works in cycles, okay? He's had his runs, most epic runs probably in the history of that company next to Austin. Who else? I mean, Rocky, sure, throw him in there, that's fine. But I'm talking about in terms of overall impact and longevity. Still there, okay? Taker's not in the company full time, but what's he doing? You don't know what he's doing, okay? He's not making movies. He's not recording albums. And again, all due respect to Rocky and, of course, Chris Jericho and whoever else in that company wants to take time off or have a life outside of the ring. I get that, totally. You don't want to be 60 years old and can't walk anymore. How about 50 years old and can't walk anymore? Okay? That's a big deal. Not disputing that whatsoever. But Taker's a lifer. He's a WWE lifer. He's in this business to stay. Okay? In some form or fashion, he will always be connected. When and if the time is right, he'll come back. Okay? But think about that. Undertaker getting destroyed. Just getting absolutely destroyed. Okay? He wasn't beat down to the point that he couldn't come back. It wasn't a John Cena destruction that happened at Mania like it was at SummerSlam. Okay? The match could have went either way. Did it destroy his reputation? Did it destroy what happened to him? In other words, the undefeated streak coming to an end? I disagree with that. I've heard some people say it ruined the whole thing. There's been a lot of stuff said about it. Let's just be honest. Go on Twitter at any given time. Go on any dirt sheet online. You'll find all sorts of varying opinions. A lot of hate being thrown to Vince, to Triple H. Probably to even Taker himself. Because you know he's not going to just do this and not go along with it. I mean, come on, guys. This Undertaker here. You don't think he's helping to call his own shots? He doesn't have a say-so. And, okay, well, Taker, you're going down tonight. Streak's over. You got 20 minutes. Have fun. Next match. No, that's not going to happen. Okay, Taker's earned the opportunity to have his own call. Okay, to call his own shot. He's earned that. He's earned that. He deserves that. And you can be sure he has that. All right. But again, Taker's old school. He'll go out on his back because it's the right thing to do. That's one of the biggest reasons why. I'm getting off topic a little bit. That's one of the biggest reasons why I always disagree with the way Bret Hart wanted to leave WWE. He wanted to leave with the belt. To me, that's wrong. You're going to go to their competitor, okay, their chief rival. You want to leave with the belt. You want to retire with it. Really? Like, dude, you wouldn't really be anyone if they didn't put you on the map. I'm not saying he didn't have the skill, okay, but they made him a star. They did that. He didn't put himself in those videos. He didn't put himself in the promos. They put him in those spots to succeed. Did he succeed? Of course he did, but they allowed him that opportunity, okay? Taker knows that. Taker knows what was done for him over the years. He respects that. He's got too much respect for the business, for that company, and for the fans to say, well, I'm going to go out on top and that's how it's going to be. Would the fans like to see that? Absolutely. But folks, that's just not the way the business works. When it works correctly, it's not the way it works. Think about it, folks. Flair lost his last match in WWE before going to WCW. Lost to Mr. Perfect. Okay? And a lot of people had a problem with that. Not me. Why? Because Mr. Perfect deserved to be champion? Well, yeah, he deserved a shot. But let's be honest. Flair had the opportunity to call it, and he wanted to do what was right for the business, what was right for that company. What was right for that company is giving Mr. Perfect the rub on his way out the door, which is exactly what he did. That's how you do business. Okay? So, Undertaker, Brock Lesnar. Brock defeats Undertaker, ends the streak, takes all that momentum, all the momentum in the world, folks. Just an immense truckload of momentum. Okay? Takes it straight into SummerSlam, annihilates John Cena. Okay, this was Superman versus Doomsday. Make no mistake about it. Except in this fight, Superman is the only one that died. Okay? Doomsday's still up walking around. He's bragging about it. He's going to go destroy something else now. He's going to go kill somebody else. Think about that for a minute. Now, for anyone out there who's saying, well, you can't count John out. Well, of course you can't count John out. Are you kidding me? He's the top guy, folks. No one's under any illusions as to what's going to happen in the near future, or eventually John will become WWE World Heavyweight Champion again. It is only a matter of time. Every time he loses that belt, the clock starts ticking until he wins it again. Again, no hard feelings on this end, just stating a fact. But the fact that we haven't heard from him, okay, nothing's been said. Coming up on Monday Night Raw, chances are he will speak. I think that's the word right now. And when you tune into Raw, on Monday, August 25th, you get to hear it straight from the horse's mouth. What's he thinking? What's he feeling? How is he? You can be pretty sure he's not going to show up limping. He's not going to show up with his arm in a cast. I wouldn't think. He's going to be fine because Cena's always fine. That's part and parcel of being the most resilient guy in the company. Okay? None of that will take away from the fact that Brock Lesnar obliterated him at SummerSlam. Can't find enough great adjectives to describe what Brock did to him. It's amazing. I've watched the match several times, and I swear to God, it looked like a squash match. The Road Warriors versus Monkey Brothers comparison, it's dead on. It's dead on. He just had his way with Cena. Imagine the faith that company has in Brock Lesnar right now that they would even allow that to happen. Okay? Whatever rumors you've heard, whatever nasty gossip has been around, what he said about them, they said about him, and when he was in UFC, he dissed WWE a few times. I remember writing those columns. I'm one of the guys that wrote those columns, and I was upset. Not so much that he dissed that company. I'm not on WWE's payroll here, folks, but that he dissed the fans. In essence, dissed the fans. That's what I had a problem with, okay? So I know what he said before. We all know what he said before, but make no mistake about it. WWE has huge amount of faith in this guy. Because no one runs over John Cena like that. No one, unless they want it to happen, unless it's meant to happen. It's meant to happen. Okay? So Brock Lesnar leaves the company for 8 years. Okay? He comes back, destroys John. John ends up winning that match. He feuds with Triple H. Brock eventually ends up winning that feud. Okay? He takes out Punk. He takes out Big Show. Only very narrowly takes out Big Show. Can we get off base just for a moment here? Off track a little bit. Talk about dominance. Big Show never looked better in his entire career, in my estimation, than he did against Brock Lesnar. He was given a lot against Brock. And you know what? Good for him. Good for him. Big Show should be given a lot. Look at all the guys done in his career. Look at the size of the guy. And forget all that. Khali's big. It means nothing, okay? But Big Show is probably the most athletic big man in the history of that company, next to one man, Undertaker. Okay? Much respect to Andre, God rest his soul. Non-athletic in the slightest. Okay? We're talking about athleticism. A big man that can get up on his feet and as quick as he can, that's impressive. Okay? A lot of heart, a lot of love for the business. Big Show's old school as well, like Taker is. Okay? Big Show looked fantastic. I was one of the guys that was extremely happy for Show against Brock Lesnar. Okay? But Brock pretty much had his way with everybody that was put in front of him when he came back in 2012. Okay? Fast forward through all of that. Here we are 2 years later. He's the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. That's a big deal. I think we all knew it was going to come eventually. None of us knew it was going to come the way it did. Okay? So here we are, Brock Lesnar, World Heavyweight Champion. Where do we go from here? Well, of course, first and foremost, Cena gets his rematch at Night of Champions. All right? That's a big deal. That's coming up. Okay? And when that happens, a lot of people out there are thinking, well, it was fun while it lasted. It's over. Cena is going to get that belt back. Think about that for a minute, man. We're already talking about the fact that Cena may get that title back already. Why do people think that? It has nothing to do with the way Brock's been presented at all. And would it diminish Brock's win at SummerSlam? Just throwing it out there to you. Think about that. Chew on that for a minute. Would it diminish Brock's win at SummerSlam if John gets the title back at Night of Champions on September 21st? Would it? That's a good one. That's a good one. It certainly would make it look a little bit silly if I could just be honest with you about it. All right? I mean, Brock does all that work. All that work's put into that match to make Brock look like $1 million. Cena does his part, and kudos to Cena for doing that in the first place. All right? Getting Brock over. To the moon, he's over. Okay? And then, 5 weeks later? Game over. Title goes back to John. Imagine the shockwaves that'd send through that, through the fans, man, through the crowd. It'd be unreal, right? I don't see it happening. That's just me talking. I don't see John getting the title back at NOC. I'd be very surprised if it happened. I think WWE is going more long term with this thing. But assuming for a moment, as I said, John doesn't get the belt back, what happens from that point on? Who's going to step up to the plate, man? Who's going to step up to the plate? And who's going to be there to challenge Brock? If you believe anything that's being said on the dirt sheets right now, there's really only 2 names being mentioned, and that's it. One name, of course, is Roman Reigns. The other name, of course, is another member of the Noy family, The Rock. Okay? Now, let's break this down one by one. Roman Reigns, as pretty much everyone and their brother has been saying for the better part of a year, maybe longer, okay? But over the year, it's really come into its own, this theory that Reigns is the next top guy. He's going to be the next face of the company, that when it's time for John to slowly begin to step aside, Roman's going to slowly begin to edge his way in, okay? Make no mistake about it. Whoever takes Brock out and wins the title from him will be over to the moon, as Brock is right now. Maybe even more so, okay? That could be Roman Reigns, your next WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Think about that. When's it going to happen? If you're smart, if you have half a brain in your head, it's going to be WrestleMania. You know this. Come on. They're not going to waste that match before Mania next year. Not going to happen, man. There's no way it's going to happen. They want the stage. Daniel had the stage. They're going to give Roman the stage. I see that happen. I truly see that happening. Okay? And when Roman gets the stage, he's going to make the best of it. Obviously, he's going to make the best of it. Okay? Roman Reigns, new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Now, do we see that happening? Is that going to happen? That's what everyone says. Hard to know what the company's going to do. Okay? You're going to hear what I'm not going to say what they want you to hear. I'll take that back. You're going to hear what you're going to hear. It's up to you to take the information, analyze it, and try to make the best of it and try to make some sense of it. Okay? In my opinion, Roman's the next top guy. Okay? Despite what the company may or may not be saying, I'm in full agreement with that assessment that Roman's the next top guy. I think it will happen at WrestleMania next year, and I think it's going to be huge. And I think he takes out Brock. Let me tell you why, if it's me, I don't think I go with The Rock. And let's look at this. Let's look at this from top to bottom. All due respect to The Rock. He's done a lot for that company. He has, okay? Can't dispute anything he's ever done for that company. They did a lot for him. Let's be straight, okay? But he did a lot for them as well, all right? Whoever takes out Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 2015 is going to be the king, the undisputed king. Forget King of Kings, man. This guy will be on the mountaintop, on a throne like no other. Why? Because of the way Brock's being presented. Think about that. Whoever pins this guy, this beast of a man in the ring for the 1, 2, 3 is going to be over to the moon. Crazy over. Imagine the pressure that would come with that. Is Roman ready for that amount of pressure? I believe he is. To me, he shows a level of maturity. I think it comes across on camera. I think it comes across in a lot of ways, okay? I think that Roman mentally is ready. Physically, he's more than ready, okay? But are we talking about 2014? I don't think so. 2015 is what we're talking about, okay? That's when it's going to happen, all right? And when it happens, it will be huge. But the reason you don't give that win to The Rock, because he can't do anything with it. He can't do a thing with it, okay? Because The Rock's career is no longer in WWE. It is part-time. Whenever the moment comes that they can do business with them, they can make some money, he can make some money, he can bring the pay-per-view buy rates in, he can sell some merchandise, he can get on TV and get the ratings up. He can work with somebody else like Cena or Punk or whoever else one of the top guys is going to be at the time. So that's good in the short term, okay? But it's not going to work. He can't do anything with it. It'll just be another accolade to add to his already huge resume full of achievements that he's had in that company. Good for him, okay? Just something else to add to his Hall of Fame career. That's awesome. And all due respect, again, to everything he accomplished, I have no problem with any of that stuff. But does he need it? He doesn't need it, folks. He doesn't need it. If Rocky wrestled, let's say, once every other month, okay, he was there in some good storylines, even if it was just one-off matches, all right, but he was still there. If he were Jericho, think about that for a second. If he were not Jericho maybe specifically, but let's say on Jericho's schedule, where he'll come back for 3 months, he'll leave for a few months, he'll come back for 4 months, whatever it is, okay? That might be a little bit different, but Rocky can't do anything with this, okay? He takes Brock out. He can be the guy that, okay, I beat the guy that beat the guy and beat the guy. He doesn't need that. Can't do anything with it. No point in it, okay? If it's me, I give that to Roman. Maturity level is always an issue. You have to believe that's always going to be there. You only know what you see. From a distance, it looks like Roman's ready. He's got the maturity. As I said before, everything's great to go. Who knows the truth to that? Okay, who really knows what the deal is? None of us really have any idea what we're talking about when it comes to that stuff. We're just all throwing our best guess out there, okay? But it looks that way from here. Are they going to go that route? Because if you think the answer is no, folks, then give me somebody better, okay? If you're not on board with Roman, you think it's too early. If you're not on board with Rocky, for a lot of the reasons I just mentioned, then give me somebody else. Who you got? Who you got, okay? Because I got nobody, man. There's nobody out there. Randy Orton, okay? If you want to talk about somebody that could do it, Randy Orton. Great, fine, awesome. Randy's such a good heel. And no one can dispute the monster pop he had as a babyface, even up to the very end of him turning heel again. I get that, okay? He was over. Fans love and respect Orton. They do. It's the truth. But Randy is a much better heel than he will ever be babyface. Make no mistake about that, man. Make no mistake about it, okay? Randy's a great heel. Who else you got? I'm marking him off. I'm moving on. Who else you got? We talked about Jericho. Love Jericho. I do. A lot of respect for Jericho. At the same time, much like Rocky, what's he going to do with it? What's he going to do with it? What's he going to do with the distinction of having defeated the guy that defeated the guy and defeated the guy? Seriously, what's he going to do with it? A whole lot of nothing. Okay? Nothing. He can't take it and do anything with it. Just like Rocky, they can't take it and make a career out of it. Their careers have already been had. They've already been made. See what I'm saying? Beating Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania in 2015 is a career-defining moment. It would be a career-beginning moment for Roman Reigns in a lot of ways. It would be a statement by that company like none of you've ever seen to say, oh, this is our guy. This is our guy, John. Guess what, John, buddy? Clock's ticking. Tick-tock, tick-tock, John. Right? So to me, you got to put somebody in that role that not only can handle the pressure, that would look good against Brock physically, can carry himself in the ring against Brock, but that can do something with it when it's all over, okay? That doesn't disappear a week after he beats Brock or the night after he beats Brock. You can't have that. You can. In short term, it's fine, but you've not progressed whatsoever. One of the biggest issues WWE has, in my opinion at this point, they've not done enough to build their future talent. Rollins is good. Roman is good. Ambrose is unbelievably good, okay? All three of these guys are the future of the company. Yes, can we all agree on that? I think we can, okay? The former Shield teammates, awesome. All in their own right, all doing unbelievable jobs right now. But, I might get some heat for this, but they're all working each other right now, okay? Is that good? Well, yeah, it's good. It's fun to watch, right? It's entertaining, right? I mean, Roman's working Randy. It's a little bit different. But Seth and Dean are working each other, okay? Is it entertaining? You better believe it. Their match at SummerSlam, good. Their match on Raw, better, in my opinion. Very good match. Brought the house down, baby. Main event's what I'm saying, all right? As well they should. They deserve that. Totally deserve that spot, and they should have a whole lot more of it. But they're working each other, okay? Does it say anything to you that Roman's being put against Randy and Dean's being put against Seth, okay? I get this is short term, all right? But who will Dean look good against next? Who will Seth look good against next? You see where I'm going with this, folks? Building your career, building your talent, okay? Not just having them work each other. And I know I'm impatient, like a lot of you folks are. I try not to be. It's hard. If everything falls into place, this company should do right by the guys who used to be the Shield. Let's just be honest. They deserve the spotlight. They deserve the opportunity to shine. They're getting that in spades. They deserve everything they can get, okay? Because they put their bodies on the line like everyone else in that ring does, 24/7, all the time, okay? But especially the work they did together in getting over. Great run as the Shield. They've earned their stripes, okay? They deserve it. But let's take a minute. Forget the fact that they're all three, well, Dean and Seth are still working each other. Let's think about who else they have that they've not utilized. Dolph is one. Everyone's got their hands raised. I can see all of you right now. You're chopping at the bit. Dude, Dolph, man, Dolph. I hear you, all right? You're preaching to the choir, brother. I am one of Dolph's supporters. Trust me on that one, okay? But that company's got their issues with him. You want to call it the fact that they believe Dolph is injury prone, he's this, he's that. Dude, whatever you want to call it, it's fine. The fact is that WWE has shown no... I just don't have any faith in them and getting him over any higher than he is right now. World title run. You want to know how over Dolph could be? Go back and watch when he won the world title. Go back and watch. Good stuff, right? Good stuff. Watch it later. Listen to me first. It's good stuff. The crowd lost its collective mind, okay? Because it was good stuff, man. All right? The crowd wanted it for him. The crowd still wants it for him. You put Dolph in the ring right now against Brock, he'll blow the roof off. He will. Absolutely. Will it look good? I think that Dolph can work anybody. That's the sign of the best talents in the business. You can put them in the ring with anyone and they'll look good. Okay? Shawn could do it. Flair could do it. Dusty could do it. All right? Piper could do it. The best in the ring with anyone on the roster that can make a good match. All right? I believe Dolph can do that. I know he can. He's done it before. Okay? So it looked great. But what have they done for him lately? Well, Tom, he's Intercontinental Champion. Well, thanks. That means as much to me as nothing. Should have had a better joke there. I need some more writers. Here's the point. Intercontinental Championship is great. A lot of history behind it. I'm all about that. I'm with that. Okay? They don't care about that belt at all. Not at all. Don't tell me they do. You're working me if they do. Please don't work me. I hate getting worked. They don't care about that title. They care even less about the United States title. All due respect to Sheamus, okay? They don't care about it. They don't care about their singles titles and they haven't in a very long time. Being Intercontinental Champion used to mean something. It means you were on your way up. It means that one day you're probably going to be WWE World Heavyweight Champion, okay? Not now. Doesn't matter now. Makes no difference now. Means nothing. Means absolutely nothing. You want to tell me I'm wrong? Then I will retort. Allow me to retort. I wait for the company to prove me wrong. Okay? They haven't done it yet. Not going to. Want to know why? They don't care about the belts. Pure and simple. Is it too little too late for Dolph? Thanks for asking that. I have no idea. It looks like it could be. The fans will never lose faith in Dolph. But at the end of the day, they've lost faith in that company because they've seen that the track record with Dolph has been atrocious. All right? So there's another option that to me, in my opinion, has not been brought enough along, not enough faith put in this guy to succeed on a very high level, in my opinion. Okay? Who else you got? Who else you got? You gave me Orton. Okay? You gave me Dolph. Gave me Jericho. Who else you got, man? Who else you got? Who's left? Folks, think about this. You gotta come up with somebody that not only, again, can pull his weight physically in the ring against Brock, but that when he physically pins Brock Lesnar's shoulders to the mat. Let me repeat that. Physically pins Brock's shoulders to the mat. That when that happens, part of you's not going, oh, yeah, I don't know, man. That just didn't feel right. You know what I mean? Who's left that would be wholly believable, completely realistic? To me, Roman is completely realistic. Big Show. Hate on him all you want to. Don't care. Big Show, completely realistic. Triple H, completely realistic. Okay? Who else? Who's left? Whose fault is it? All the blame lies at the feet of WWE. Now, should they be taking every single guy they have and building main event careers, future Hall of Fame careers, every single moment of every single day? Be nice, right? Make my job a lot easier. Put me out of a job, actually. I am an analyst, after all. Had nothing left to analyze. They'd be doing everything right. That'd be awesome. That's a perfect world. Not a perfect world. Want to know why? Because not everyone in the locker room can be Stone Cold Steve Austin. Not everyone in the locker room can be John Cena. You need Santino Marella. Okay, you need your Dolph Zigglers. You need The Miz. You need the Usos. Okay, you need the other guys. John Cena's great. For what he does for that company, he's the top money maker. He's the top guy. Going to be that way. Going to be that way for a while. Okay? It is. Let's be straight about it. Okay? But John needs a supporting cast. Flair, the man. The man. 16 times the man. Argue with that one. You can't. One of the best all time, if not the best all time in the history of this industry. Okay? Flair had to have a supporting cast. Flair had to work somebody. Right? Couldn't do it on his own. Flair had to beat guys. Okay? Flair made other guys look good. They made him look good. Part and parcel. That's how business works. Okay? Flair had to have a supporting cast. Hogan had an entire company making him look good. He had to have that. Had to have it. Okay? All the top guys have had it. They can't do it on their own. In my opinion, WWE has had John do it too much on his own. Okay? Not too long ago, Randy Orton, World Heavyweight Champion, right? John Cena, WWE Champion. They're the two top guys. There's nobody else. Nobody else. Locker room full of guys, nobody else. Okay? Nobody was up to that level. Then, of course, 2011 comes and, Punk drops a pipe bomb and everything just blows wide open. But to that point, who was it? That's your two top guys. That's it. It's pretty boring for a while. I know. I wrote those columns too. Okay? So that's what we're looking at right now. That's your options. Give me someone else. Okay? I hear what a lot of you are saying right now. I'm hearing the whispers. I know what you're going for, and I'm almost there with you. Let's get his name out there. Let's mention it. Let's talk about it. Let's chew on it. Dave Batista. How's that one hitting you? That feel good? Sound good to you? It's intriguing, right? Drax the Destroyer himself facing, and I'm not going to do the voice, don't ask me to, facing Brock Lesnar. Thank you very much. And becoming the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. How you feeling about that? Has Batista put his time in? Is Batista big enough? Is he, physically, does he match up? Yes to all of that. Okay? Here's the issue. Batista's pretty well hated. Okay? Hated a bunch. All right? People can't stand the guy. Why? Because he left? Sure. Okay, fine, he left. Well, boo-hoo. A lot of guys leave. But it was Batista's attitude that killed him during this last run. It was. When Batista became arrogant, And for real, you know what I'm saying? Became real cocky and arrogant in front of fans. Flipped the crowd off. I mean, folks, man, come on, man. You got to be a little bit more grown up than that. Now, if the plan was to turn him heel anyway, fine. Do whatever you want to do to get yourself over, man. But come on. Grow up, right? That'd be my answer to that. Does he care? He doesn't care. Why would he care about what you think? Think he cares what I think? Doesn't have a clue. Doesn't care at all. Okay? But again, look at it from their perspective. They need somebody big. Not just physically, but big as a name, big as in reputation. Somebody that can get it done. Batista can get it done. But is it believable? Will Batista stick around? What can he do with it? Can he do anything with it? See where I'm getting at, folks? We're asking that question a lot, and I've asked it too much. I've had to ask it too. I don't have a choice. I've asked it a lot during the course of this program in particular. What can they do with it? You wouldn't have to ask that about somebody that's actually there all the time. We're talking about part-time superstars here, folks. That's what we're talking about, okay? Part-time guys are good. They have their purpose. They can make some money for you, hopefully, in the short term. Long term, they're not doing anything for you, unless they're Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho comes back, he bumps, all right? He's going under, okay? Bray pinned him, okay? Rocky comes back, John beats him. Well, John's done everything. Now he can just add something else to the long list of stuff he's done. Good for him. Let Bray pin The Rock. Never going to happen. I'm just saying, okay? Bray pinned Jericho. Okay, it's a big deal. Huge difference. All right? Because Bray's there. Bray's not going to go anywhere, man. He's not going to go make a movie tomorrow. All right? He's there for the long haul, we assume. Okay? And this might be a huge comparison. And again, please no hate mail. Let's all get a hold of ourselves and try to calm down here. I'm starting to get reminded just the least little bit of WCW. All right? Let me tell you why. The reason for that is very simple. WCW went down for a litany of reasons. That's another main event topic, by the way. One day we'll get into it. Join me. It'll be a blast. Already looking forward to it, aren't you? But WCW went down for a litany of reasons. Okay? But chief among them, in my opinion, they did not reinvest in the talent that they had. Okay? They brought in main event guys from WWE. They made a living off of them. Made the money off of them. Got rich off of them. Got number one off of them. Okay? What did they do for the rest of the guys that were there? Nothing. Nothing. Okay? Nothing. What did they do for them? Nothing. They didn't reinvest in the talent that they had. They used the big name guys to get you there. When you got there, you saw some great matches. You did. Malenko, Guerrero, Jericho, all right? Some of the luchador guys. Goldberg was coming up. Love him or hate him, he was an attraction, okay? Flair was still there. Flair was still kicking. Being stepped on 6 ways from Sunday, but he was still there. Horsemen were still there for a time, okay? So there were options. There were things happening in that company. The company's putting money back into this. Let me rephrase that. The company was putting money back in to guys they thought were going to be main event talent, like Goldberg. They put money into Goldberg. They didn't put money in anybody else, okay? That was the essential problem. That was the biggest problem with that company, in my estimation. They didn't reinvest. So as a result, they go under. They went under for a lot more reasons than that, and thanks to a lot of different people, okay? But to me, my opinion, they went down. The biggest reason they didn't reinvest, okay? Are we seeing that right now? Are we seeing the investment happening with WWE, with the guys that are there all the time, okay? Seth looks great right now, right? Dean looks extraordinary right now. Roman looks good, okay? What about 6 months from now? How do they look? What are they going to do? Seth and Dean can't feud forever. We hope they can. Why? Because it's entertaining, man. It's fun, right? Now, Dean's off to film a movie, okay? Not going to be feuding for a while. When he comes back, who's he going to pick on first? How could it not be Seth? So the feud kicks back up again. Kick starts brand new, okay? New tone to it. Maybe a new look to it. New key players, the supporting cast, new supporting cast involved. Same hatred, same bitterness that's fueling it. They fueled it up to the point of Monday Night Raw. Okay? So, feud of the year. Sure, I'll give it that. Here's the thing. What happens after the feud's over, man? Think about that. Who do they go to next? What does Seth do after that? What does Dean do after that? Roman's path to the top is pretty clear, to us anyway. I mean, you'd have to be on the inside of WWE to know for sure, obviously, okay? But to me, to anyone sitting at home, to anyone schooled on the business and on this company, it really looks as though Roman's on his way up, okay? So Roman's path is clear. Seth's, he's Mr. Money in the Bank. Who's going to cash in on him? Think this whole topic is not confusing enough as it is? Let's just throw Seth in there for good measure and just have fun with it, shall we? Who in the world is Seth Rollins going to cash in on, and how? How is the question. You going to cash in on Brock Lesnar? No, not going to happen. Not going to happen. Could he? There's something for thought. Could he and be believable? Okay? I'm inclined to say no. Got nothing against Seth and what he can do in the ring. But it's how Brock's being, again, folks, it all goes back to how Brock's being presented. Brock is essentially Doomsday. He is. He's the biggest, baddest villain you've ever seen in your entire life. Okay? He is. He's the entire James gang. He's the baddest of the bad. No one can touch him. NWO, put all of them in the ring. He'll take them all out. He's the top, man. He's the top heel right now. By far. He is now. Okay? Jeez. It's so hard to say. That's another question for another day. Okay? But here's the thing. We're talking about who's ready, who can be that guy, who can be the guy to step up. All right? Enough of getting off topic. Get back to the topic at hand here, folks. Who's going to be the one to step up? Who's going to be that guy? I've actually heard Ambrose's name being mentioned. It's interesting. I'm with that to a certain extent. I don't know how I feel about it right now. Because, again, folks, whoever pins Brock is getting the keys to the kingdom. It's not going to be no small win, no small victory. It's going to be huge. It'll be absolutely huge. Okay? Not only will he get the belt, he's getting the spot. He's getting the spot. CM Punk. Why? Why would Tom mention Punk's name? Because I'm just trying to be silly. CM Punk's another main event for another day, folks. Trust me when I tell you that. Just imagine, Punk coming back from the dead, right? And getting the spot against Brock, avenging his loss at SummerSlam in 2013. I mean, think about that. That's huge, right? It's good stuff. It's just, when it comes to Punk, you gotta laugh or you'll cry. Bottom line, it's just so much material to be had there. All right, let's get Punk's name out of there before I really stir up some controversy and get some serious crap thrown my way. Relax, folks. It's just all in good fun. Okay, so we've covered some of the heavy hitters of the company, guys who are still there, a couple that are no longer there, who are there perhaps part-time. Let's go back to the dead man. Is WWE perhaps leading up to Lesnar versus Taker? Maybe at WrestleMania in 2015? Sound ridiculous? Sound like a stretch? The fact is that Taker's not been seen, okay, since WrestleMania 30. Hasn't been seen, all right? Hasn't been heard from. Nothing of the sort. As far as WWE fans are concerned, the dead man's dead. Okay, he's not been around. Brock took him down, ended the streak, ended the story of Undertaker. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? What's the chances? What's the possibility here that Taker becomes the next WWE World Heavyweight Champion? Grasping at straws, you say? Perhaps, but think about this. The Undertaker never got revenge on the Shield for laying him out. Everyone remember that? The Shield took him out. It was on SmackDown, right? He never made them answer for that, because by the time he got back to face Brock at WrestleMania 30, the Shield had babied out, and it was a whole new ballgame. So no revenge was there to be had for the dead man. But let's say that they move ahead with Undertaker versus Sting at WrestleMania 31. Let's think about that. With nothing being done with Taker versus Lesnar, will it even be addressed? Do you know what I mean? It's a great question. I mean, again, it'll be twice in a row now that the Phenom has not caused the guy that hurt him or to put him down to answer for his crimes, as it were. Interesting scenario playing out there. I'm curious to know where they're going to go with it. Okay, so again, Taker, The Rock, Roman's name is in there. Ambrose perhaps is in there. Orton is a bit of a stretch. Jericho's a bit of a stretch. At the end of the day, John Cena is probably the guy that's going to get it done. Although right now, again, John Cena looks like a monkey brother. But I mean, it's a big deal, folks. Let's don't forget about Batista as well. I forgot about him. Right now, the company has the most dominant champion that it's had in a very long time. We cannot dispute that. Again, love him or hate him, you cannot dispute the impact that he has in the ring. It's just amazing stuff. To this day, he is as violent, as brutal, as volatile of a personality, of a character that you will find in any pro wrestling ring. Forget WWE. In any pro wrestling ring anywhere in the world. Brock Lesnar is it, and he's obviously it now because he is your reigning and defending WWE World's Heavyweight Champion. That's some stuff. Who knows what the future holds? We have to get past Night of Champions on September 21st to begin with, and then we go from there. Going to be very interesting to see what happens. Be sure to tune in for that. I know I'm going to WWE Network. Only $9.99 per month. There you go, Mr. Layfield. So there you have it, folks. Brock Lesnar, the Beast Incarnate, the next big thing, the Anomaly, the War Machine. How many more nicknames you got? I could go all day at this. He's the man. He's the current champion. He's the one the company's going with. Is it short term? More than likely. Could he hold that belt for longer than Punk did, 434 days? I don't see why not. Is he willing to commit for that long? And what are we talking about here? Is he going to keep this very limited schedule? Or are we going to see him on TV now that he's champion? I mean, when's the next time you're going to see him? Heyman's going to be there. Heyman's going to help. Okay? In Brock's absence, the times that Brock's not there, Heyman will be the one speaking up for his client. He's going to make it all worth it. He ups Brock's entertainment value tenfold. Okay? The moments that Brock is just sort of being Brock and just sort of throwing himself out there, and you know, sometimes some of the things he says kind of just throws you off. Don't forget about the blood, the urine, and the vomit. It's disgusting stuff. But Heyman just brings it all home. He puts a nice big bow on it. He reminds the crowd. He reminds the boys in the back. He reminds everyone within earshot why he is the best guy on the stick for that company right now. He really is. He's Mr. Entertainment, is Paul Heyman. And that does nothing but help the current WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Mr. Brock Lesnar. We call him Mr. because we don't want arms broken. Let's not forget that. So, all right, folks. That's been the main event for this week. A lot of questions unanswered. A lot of things covered with no easy solutions available. Speculate. That's what we do. It's what we as wrestling fans do. It's what we as writers do. That's kind of our jobs. Take the information, analyze it, try to spit it back out at you with the best hypothesis we can possibly come up with. So what do you got? Let me know, folks. TomClarkBR@yahoo.com. Follow me on Twitter @TomClarkBR. Please, again, feel free to check out my work on Bleacher Report, on the Layfield Report, WhatCulture.com, and Calvin Clutch blog. Your support, as always, is greatly appreciated. Don't forget to vote Tom in 2016. Every vote counts, people. That's it, folks. That's the main event for this time around. We will see you next time on Tom Clark's Main Event.